Hey, greetings everyone. It's been a while. Welcome to a new series on the show that I like to call Weekend Cocktail. It's about news. News and booze. That's important to me. And obviously the first item on the news today is you probably noticed that the picture looks better and yet Toddy looks worse. And there's a reason for that. I just recently upgraded, getting a new computer. Hooray. Just got to get the sound card working. And, of course, the new digital camcorder I just bought, which, it beats one of these. I'll tell you what. This, I could just throw this away. We're done with the horrible, crappy sound and the horrible, crappy picture of the BlackBerry. Done. But anyway, news today, just a little recap of where I've been for a while. Generally, I've been here, just not making videos, but within the last month I went out to California, and man, what a trip that was. First and foremost, before I begin, just a little special thank you to my brother's neighbor, Ed, who let me stay in his apartment for the entire week for absolutely positively nothing. Ed, if you're watching this, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Love ya. Props to you. Another thing I want to do is thank my younger brother Brent and Tisha for hosting me over there, showing me around, taking time off of work, and basically showing me one hell of a good time. It was a trip. And speaking of the trip, first thing, of course, was the plane ride. Now, I've been in a plane. I've never been in a jet before, so that was kind of interesting. And every time I look out the window and realize I was at about 5 miles up, just a little bit of apprehension. Not panic, but it's just like, man, that ground's 5 miles down. But by the end of the trip, second flight back home, I was fine. The arrival at LAX, first thing I noticed was LAX, and I was basically just in one terminal there. It's huge, and of course, the LAX complex, if you've ever been there, is freaking huge. There's, I don't know how many terminals there are, but it's a lot. Also, as soon as I arrived, Brent picks me up, and first thing he asked me, "Are you hungry?" And it's just like, actually, I was. I didn't eat since 10 o'clock the night before. So where do we go? We go to this little hole in the walls called Pepes, and if you're in the LA area and you know where Pepes is, I don't know exactly where it is. I'll put the link down below. Go to it. They have just the most delicious Mexican food. It's just a little hole in the wall. It is just marvelous. The second day, went to the La Brea Tar Pits. That was, by the way, a little piece of advice. Now, first on finding it, it's not in La Brea. I forget exactly what street it's on. But the second piece of advice is, you might not want to take a picnic lunch there, because there's one thing about the La Brea Tar Pits. I don't know, stinks! But still a good time was there, and we had there. And later on that night, we ended up going to a comedy show that was performed by one Sarah Craven. I forget who the other person was. But anyway, Sarah Craven, my brother was working on a project for Sarah Craven. It was a little song called Don't Sleep With Your Best Friend. And that song has been running in my head ever since. So Sarah Craven, if you're watching this, thank you very much for putting that song in my head. It's almost as bad as when Brent would keep going to me, "This is Los Angeles, Todd." But anyway. Also later on that night, we went to the pier in Santa Monica. So we're at the pier, and we decided to go on the Ferris Wheel. No problem. I've been on Ferris wheels before. But Ferris wheels have like either a lap bar or something else to hold you in. This has absolutely positively nothing. So naturally, a person who and I'm not exactly a person who's scared to go on thrill rides. I go on roller coasters all the time, no problem. But for some reason, because I wasn't strapped in, I'm holding on to the little support tube in the middle for dear life, going, I need to be strapped in. Meanwhile, my brother's going, well, why do you need to be strapped in? And I'm sitting there going, because I'll be strapped in. So that was a lot of fun. Luckily, there's no footage of that showing me screaming like a little girl. Next day, we went to the LA Galaxy game. I forget who. Oh, it's the Chicago Fire. Boy, that's kind of a horrible name. But anyway, the Fire beat the Galaxy. That's too bad. But it was a lot of fun. And let me tell you something about soccer fans. They are just as wild, just as rowdy as you have them pictured. They are hardcore fans. Now, this is coming from a lifelong Green Bay Packer fan, and I thought we were bad. No, not even close. No, it's if you haven't gone to some sort of Major League Soccer game or a soccer game over in England, please do so. It's a lot of fun, but when you're over there, don't call it soccer, call it football, or else it might beat you up. I'm just saying. Then the next day, went over to Venice Beach, and what the heck happens? My brother decides that we're going to have a little bit of a video shoot, and yes, we did shoot a video that was called Baby's Day at the Beach. The link's down below. It's starring me. You get to see me without a shirt on. Get a barf bag ready, but once you're done barfing, you might laugh a little bit. I'm just saying. Tuesday. Tuesday. We ended up going to the Mount Wilson Observatory. That was really kind of a nice little wild goose chase because if you've ever gone to Mount Wilson, it's up mountain roads, and that's on a good day. Well, there was recently a fire, so guess what happened? We went through 30 miles of mountain roads, going through the back way where there are cliffs right out the door that you could drop about 1,000 feet down. This is not exactly what I call a good day. So we end up getting to Mount Wilson, right? Wanted to see Mount Wilson all of my life, see the observatory, the telescope and all that. That's what all the textbooks, the pictures from space, that was the observatory that was in all the textbooks. We get up there, and what do we find? Normal business hours, Saturday and Sunday only. Yeah. Sometime when we were going down the mountain roads on back, Brent kind of looks at me and says, I hate you, Todd. So anyway, Wednesday was a day of rest for me because Brent had a day of massive work where he put in nothing major, just a 19-hour day. But the day after that, we went to see the Hollywood sign and the Bat Cave. Both are around the Griffith Park area. I've never been there. It's pretty cool. The Bat Cave just seems like a hole in the ground, and sadly, no bats. But the Bat Cave, pretty darn cool. Friday, last night there, went to Universal Studios, and Universal Studios is worth going to once and never again. However, it was definitely worth it. I did like the tour of the studio. However, I thought that the King Kong ride that they went ahead and bragged up all this time was way too, how should I put it, short. 2 minutes out of the entire tour? Come on. Can we say rip off, boys and girls? I thought we could. And finally, I go ahead and I come back here. And between then and now, and I really haven't changed my mind on this at all, I have decided that I'm moving to LA in the next 2 years. I don't care if I have to live in a cardboard box there when I first arrive. I am moving to Los Angeles. I love the people. I thought they were very laid back and friendly. The food there was fantastic. It's a much larger variety you can find here, and quite frankly, the sushi tastes like sushi, which is always a plus. And the weather, I was expecting really hot weather, but it was basically typical Los Angeles weather. Highs in the mid-60s to 70s, lows in the lower 60s, all year round, except for the occasional heat wave in the summer. That's not a bad deal. That certainly beats the high humidity that we get in the summer every year. This year, it's been so wet that they're changing the state plant to mildew, and they're changing the state animal to the mosquito. Oh, it's that bad. In fact, I think we just had our first malaria outbreak last week. But anyway, that's basically it. And by the way, boys and girls, there will be another update, and this will actually be about real news next week. And while you're at it, don't forget about the DPR Jones Blog TV event coming up on September 18th. DPR Jones, what's he doing? He's going ahead and once again doing his annual show to benefit Doctors Without Borders. Go to it, give love, give support, and hey, the booze is done, so I'm done. Toodles!